What's going on, party people? Okay. Thank you for your patience. This is a question that we got in from Dawn. Sorry, not Dawn. Dominique. She said, "How do you pick a good private coach?" And so I decided to do that as well as get into some other information that could help you as you choose a private coach and how to get the most out of your sessions. Also, thanks for your patience. I was supposed to do this, or at least in my mind, I wanted to do this last week, early last week, but I was just getting over a cold and then I went out of town. So I'm back and I hope you are having a fantastic week so far. It's already Wednesday. I got to start shooting the video that's coming out this Monday on the channel. Okay, so in this live, I've got my trusty notes here as well, so stay on topic. In this live, I'm going to cover how to decide on a private coach or private coaches, how often to coach, because that was also a part of Dom's question. And then I want to throw in there how to get the most out of your training and private coaching when you do choose somebody. And that even has some leeway into whether you're taking classes or workshops as well. There we go. Is the hair okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, okay. So first off, with our private coaches at the Atlanta Voiceover Studio, we offer initial consults. At least the instructors who are able to do that, they offer initial consults. They're typically 30 minutes. So it just covers what your goals are as a talent. It also is beneficial because you get to see, okay, do I vibe pretty well with this private coach? Think I can get something out of it with them? And then also, yeah, what you want to get out of the coaching sessions, if you vibe with the coach, and also if it's comfortable, because you want to have a good time with your private coach at the same time that they're teaching you things and that you're learning things. There's an area of just vulnerability, and let me give you an example. I coach with somebody who's very high up as a casting director. Um, we had a session. She was leading me through something and she's like, "Okay, consider yourself in this imaginary circumstance going through this." And I'm like, "Nope, there's something else that I'm feeling right now that's just welling up inside of me." I was crying through that thing. At the end, she's like, "Thank you for being vulnerable like that." So there's a trust and there's a vulnerability that you can have with your private coach. And let me just tell you, the more vulnerable you can be in any type of creative space like this, the more you're going to grow. And granted, I shouldn't, if I was actually with the thing that we were going through, the script that we were going through, where I was actually crying and all this emotion was coming up. Just as a side note, you wouldn't be crying through something unless it was actually asking for it. But it was just the ability, and I counted it as a win because it was the ability of me to put myself in that circumstance using things that have happened in my past to bring all that to the forefront. So Heidi's texting me right now. She's on a shoot in Chattanooga for Big Green Egg. So kudos to her. So all that to say, you want to have that trustworthiness with whoever you choose as a private coach. Now, wherever you go, whether it's with us or somewhere else, see if the private coach has a consult, just so that you can, or a smaller session. It could be maybe 15 minutes or something like that. You'll just pay for that time because their time is valuable as well. And just see if there's something that they offer like that. When you're in that session, when you're in that consult, ask them what their philosophy is on voiceover and on coaching. See if you're a good match. This is the time to just ask them anything. And it's okay. Look at it again. We always say that you're running a voiceover business. So this is actually you interviewing someone who you want to help your business out with. Yeah. This is you as a business owner saying, "Okay, I wonder if I hire this person, will this be good for my voiceover business?" It's okay. It's okay to think that because that's what you're doing. You're running a small business. For me, when I'm choosing a private coach, at this stage in my career, after 20 plus years, I'm going off of what other talent I know who've been at it for a while have said about private coaching. if and those talent that I trust and their recommendations. And for the most part, it has worked out 99.9% of the time. For you, if you're just starting out, you can also go off of recommendations either from us or other talent that you may know who you see some leaps in their career or their performances. That's another good way to tell. But no matter what, after a few sessions, if like for me, if it's not going the way that I want it to, or I'm not getting as much as I thought out of it, well, I just stop doing it. And it's okay. Again, you're making a business decision. They shouldn't be upset. And I'll have a story that's actually a warning for anyone coming up at the end of this, because it's sad that it happens, but it does, where coaches can be manipulative. I've got a story about that. I'll tell you about that. So while if I am backing out of a private coaching with someone and saying, okay, we need to cut ties here, I'm not. And there are ways that you can word this. I'm not feeling like I'm getting what I need out of it. Nothing along with you. It's just we're not working. It's not you, it's me. No, don't do that. And while I would have rather have spent money, elsewhere, it still helped me to know what type of private coach I need. So even if you get into a certain circumstance where you're with a private coach, you're finding out that it's not working, take that as kind of like the Edison light bulb story. If you haven't heard that, I think he was asked, he tried 100 ways to make a light bulb and it still hasn't succeeded. And his perspective was, well, I found 100 ways that won't work. Same thing with private coaching. Just means that I don't react well to this type of coaching. What I need is this type of coaching. So try to take the positive spin out of it rather than the negative. Now, we're not going to bat 1,000 all the time. And when you do cancel the coaching, again, that is okay. It's personal. It's a business decision and it's not personal. So, okay, I will share that one story coming up. But before I forget, no matter who you coach with, at some point, whether it's with us at the Atlanta Voiceover Studio, and this also applies to classes and workshops too, you're going to learn as much as you can from them. And then you're going to figure out at that point, okay, I think I have learned all that I could from this person. It's time to move on. And that's okay. It's business. And if you're an on-camera actor, you already know this. You coach with somebody, they teach you as much as they can, get you to a certain point, and then there's a jump off point where either you start flying on your own and test it out, or you go on to another private coach or a class. Okay. Now, when it comes to private coaching, how often should you coach? That was one of Dom's questions. And that really is up to you. It's personal preference, but it's based on a few things, one of which is your budget. Now, I've coached anywhere from once a week to every couple weeks to once a month. Just depends on your goals. So budget is a big thing. If you can afford to do it more often, you're going to get more out of it quicker. Or if you need to space it out, just make sure during those times that you're going over what you did learn. And sometimes actually, rather than private coaching, it is cheaper to do a class or a workshop. So consider that. But if you want that one-on-one time, private coaching is the way to go. For me, well, at this stage in the game, I do the one-on-ones because it's more valuable to me. However, I've been in classes and workshops for animation and video games, and that's what I found as I started out has been more beneficial. But now I'm at the point where I'm ready to do one-on-one for those now. So the answer is do what you feel is right for you, your time, and then your budget. Now, in private coaching, how do you get the most out of that time together with your private coach? So is that it? Yeah. How to get the most from your, yeah. How do you know when it's time to move on from a teacher or coach? Okay, here's an example from VO Atlanta. We had a session one year at VO Atlanta on creating a full-time sustainable voiceover career, and we asked people to share their challenges. One couple who was there, they were there with their daughter. They shared that they pay for coaching for their daughter for each audition. The problem was that's not sustainable, and I totally get it. You shouldn't have to do that. And they were at a loss for what to do. So we could completely empathize with them in that, but how do you gain that confidence, or with them? How do you help your daughter gain that confidence to implement what she learns by herself? So whether it's her daughter, their daughter learning, or if it's you, there are some tips that you can get the most from your voiceover training, and these are practical. So make sure you jot these down. The first one is always ask why. When an instructor or coach gives you direction, ask them why. You need to know the why. Taking a direction from a coach or instructor may get you to a good read on their own. Like, I can have somebody walk in off the street and direct them and make it sound pretty decent, depending on how good of an actor or actress that they are. But if you know the why, or if you don't know why, sorry, I've got the notes here. Taking a direction from a coach may get you to a good read, but if you don't know why, you can replicate that on your own without someone else directing you. So knowing the why, it'll help you on your own to direct yourself on your own. So there's a reason, there's just a mental process. And when you regurgitate that back to the instructor, well, it's easier to learn. So we've done that so many times with people in classes or workshops, like with our agent rep prep workshop that's coming up on the 31st. We ask the students to regurgitate back what we just told them, because once you do that, you're going to remember it even more. Number two, ask your coach or your instructor your strengths. There's so often where we just focus on the weaknesses and that we have to improve on this, this, and this. Ask them your strengths. First off, it's going to be a good note that, hey, I am good at certain things within this industry. And also, the practical side of that is when auditions come through that do run to your strengths, you're like, oh, I've already got this in the bank. I know what I'm doing with this, what you can bring to the table. It'll also help build your confidence too. So make sure you write down your strengths and have them easily accessible, just so you can reference that. Further along in your career, you may not need that. Again, 3, teach what you learn back to the instructor. There's a quote that Heidi had. It says, we retain the highest percentage of what we learn if we teach it back. So again, regurgitate that back. And if your coach teaches you how to find the point of view in a script, well, then ask them if you can repeat back what they just taught you, just to make sure that you understand. And then 4, record and listen back to your reads. It's okay to record during those sessions. And honestly, if you get a private coach that says, no, you can't, that might be a red flag, because you got to be able to go back and listen if you need to. And I would go back frequently and do it within a couple times during the week. I'm not as good at doing that. And part of that is just because of my busyness, but it's most beneficial. And had I done that more over my career, I think I would have grown quicker. It's going to train. This is the benefit too. Why do you do that? Because it's going to train your ear of what to listen for when you do those auditions on the side. So you're like, oh, this is what I learned in the private coaching with so-and-so. I'm not hearing this. Let me try this. Putting time between it will allow you to listen with fresh ears too. That's a cool part. So when you put the things above into practice, it'll allow you the freedom to feel like you can move on from your coach or instructor and then apply those principles on your own. And so I know that this may be a strange live, because with the Atlanta Voiceover Studio, our whole business is about training people, but it is true. Our goal is for you to learn, retain that knowledge, and then once you figure out, okay, I've got all this stuff, then you move on. It's okay. And there's other people who have moved on from other coaches and come to us for the things that we teach. It's just the way it is. We're journeyman actors. We, just like on camera, we're journeyman voiceover actors. We learn things and we grow, and then we morph, and then we try to make things our own. And just the longer that you're in this, the more spin of yourself that you're able to put into it. And that's the cool part about this creative endeavor. And if you utilize these now, there will come a point where you only utilize us for specialty workshops and classes, and that's okay. We're here to give you the resources you need to create this career that you want. So I promise you the story of the coaching gone awry. This wasn't only Heidi. I ended up having a friend who was coaching with the same person, and he ended up saying he didn't realize it, but we had a few conversations over the course of a few weeks, and then he realized it as well. But so Heidi was in this coaching session. She had booked, I don't know how many weeks or months with this person. She thought it was going okay, but after each coaching session, she wasn't really feeling good about anything or herself. I'm trying to put this delicately. Uh, and let me say this is after she'd been in voiceover for well over a decade, so she's not a newbie at this point. Um, she knew a lot at that time, and even more now. But it came to her head when her coach told her certain things, and I actually listened into one of these coaching sessions, and at the end, I'm like, Heidi, trust your gut on this. What I heard that was very, very manipulative. Uh, and it's sad because I know that the private coach issues that they have only because I've been in counseling for so long. If you're in counseling, you realize, oh, this person has this person is dealing with this. There's issues that this private coach was dealing with, and it was manifesting in different ways within this private coaching session with Heidi. Majority of it fear-based. But that said, even though I and Heidi could understand those issues that she might have been dealing with in her personal life, that doesn't mean that it's okay. We as talent and we as human beings need to set up those boundaries to protect ourselves. So I'm all about being real and authentic and speaking truth, but you don't have to put up with someone who is manipulative. Uh, if they use scare tactics to keep you as a client, or if they make you feel less than in a session. And again, there's obviously some issues that this person was dealing with that they haven't dealt with, and I wish them well. I hope that they are able to get healthy mentally. But I know that Heidi wasn't the only one that this person was doing it with. Like I said, I had that other buddy, and he didn't even realize that this was going on. But once I shared with him, this is what we experienced, this is how it was manifesting in this private coach. Is that happening with you in your sessions? And then finally he started paying attention. He's like, oh my gosh, it really is manipulative. Then he ended up having to sever ties. Didn't do that to try and take anything away from this private coach. But again, you've got to protect yourself as a talent as well as a human being. And I wish this private coach all the well. I do hope and pray that they do get healthy. Okay, so that's about it. Hope you got a lot out of that. You don't ever have to put up with anything from a private coach. Trust your gut. There's plenty of times over my career that I did not, but it's a learning process, right? And obviously, towards the end, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff, and I hope that you're able to put it into place. Red Venado, just as my plane is taking off, hope that everything will be shown again. Yes, it's going to be in the live playlist on the YouTube channel. So hope that helps. If you're figuring out what to do with a private coach, how often to coach, and give you some extra tips there to get the most out of it. If you have any questions, you can always email me, mike@atlantavoiceoverstudio.com or mike@provoiceovertraining.com. And then also, we've got something pretty cool that we've been doing since the first of the year. It's called the VO Mentorship Membership. It's been running every month. We get together with a live Zoom with an industry pro. Then Heidi and I answer questions that you might be struggling with. There's a private Discord where everybody is super supportive of one another. It's only $25 a month. It's really a no-brainer because it's like having a private coach anytime you want. And we are encouraging, and we are not manipulative. So if that's of interest, check out atlantavoiceoverstudio.com. In the what we offer in the menu drop down, just click on VO Mentorship Membership. And again, if you have any questions, you can always email me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers to you and your voiceover success.